In this lecture, we'll be discussing AC generator, alternating current generator. If you remember what we have discussed till now we have discussed that if you have a loop or you have a coil, if you have a coil connected to a galvanometer and this coil experiences a change in magnetic flux, if you have a coil connected to a galvanometer which is experiencing a change in magnetic flux, there will be an EMF induced in the coil where the EMF induced E, according to Faraday's law, is proportional to number of turns and rate of change of flux. EMF will be induced in this and subsequently current will flow through this coil depending upon the rate of change of flux. It does not depend upon whether flux is passing through this or not. It depends upon the change in flux linking this coil. So d phi by dt. Then we studied in Lenz's law the direction of this induced EMF E is such that this induced EMF E will try to force current through this coil in such a way that the current will produce a magnetic field that will oppose the cause. So E is equal to minus d n d phi by dt. This is from the Lenz's law and Faraday's law. Now, as all of you are aware that we use electrical energy at our places, and this electrical energy is generated in places what you call as powerhouse or electrical power station, or what you call as powerhouses, power generating stations. In power generating stations, there are devices or there are machines which are used for generation of this electrical energy. These machines are known as AC machines or AC generator. AC means alternating current generator. I'll come to this a little later. What does this alternating current mean over here? In this lecture, we are going to study about the construction, the principle of working, and details of this AC generator. Thus, if someone asks you what is an AC generator, the answer to this question is as simple as this. An AC generator is a machine which is used to produce electrical energy. Fine. Now, what basically is an AC generator? Before coming to the principle of AC generator, let me draw a simple schematic diagram of AC generator over here. Let us suppose this is a very interesting topic and some of you may opt for electrical engineering in future, so this will be helpful. Let us suppose we have a magnetic field here where this side is North Pole and this side is South Pole. And inside this magnetic field, I have placed a coil. This is a conductor. I will come to this, don't worry. We have a north pole on this side and we have a south pole on this side, and we have a loop over here, or you would call a single turn of coil over here. This is a coil of single turn. Fine. And this coil can be rotated here. You can understand this like this. You have a north pole on this side, you have south pole on this side, and you have a coil here in between. This coil can be rotated here. You can rotate this coil. You can rotate this coil here or here in any direction. This coil is inside the magnetic field. Fine. North pole on this side, south pole on this side, and you have a coil over it. This is this coil that I represented here. And this is the axis. Axis means this is the center of, this is the axis through which you can rotate this either in this direction or in this direction, clockwise or anti-clockwise. Okay. In its crude form, we'll try to explain it as simple, make it as simple as possible. Now tell me one thing. You have this coil inside the magnetic field. Since North Pole is on this side, South Pole is on this side. Fine. North Pole is on this side, South Pole is on this side. And I'm keeping, this is my coil, I'm keeping this coil in this position. Magnetic flux comes from here, goes here, goes here. What is magnetic flux through this coil here? Magnetic flux would have been passing through the coil had flux been in this direction, but flux is in this direction. So flux passing through coil is 0 in this position. If coil is placed in the plane of this paper, magnetic flux through the coil is 0. Now if I rotate this coil, if I rotate this, rotate this coil, rotate this coil here, the flux from North Pole to South Pole will pass through this coil. This will go through the coil. This will go through the coil. Fine. Again, when you rotate it again, flux through the coil will decrease. Flux will decrease. Flux will again become 0. Fine. So initially flux was 0. Flux through the coil was 0. If you rotate this coil, flux through the coil is increasing. Flux through the coil is increasing. Flux through the coil becomes maximum. And then you rotate it again, flux through the coil is decreasing, and finally it becomes 0. What I mean to say here is, if you have a coil over here and you rotate this coil inside a magnetic field, does the flux passing through the coil remain same, or does the flux passing through the coil change? I'm explaining this working, or what you call it, principle. You have a coil and you are rotating this coil inside a magnetic field. Whenever you have a coil inside a magnetic field and you are rotating that coil inside a magnetic field, does same flux pass through the coil all the time, or does flux change with time? With time, flux is changing. Initially flux was 0, then flux through the coil is increasing and it becomes maximum over here, then again it becomes 0, again it becomes maximum. Fine. So flux through the coil keeps on changing. And we already know, now so you have this coil inside the magnetic field and the flux passing through this coil is changing. Whenever there is a coil through which the flux passing, whenever you have a coil which is experiencing change in flux with respect to time, there will be an induced EMF in this. So in this coil you will have an EMF. Then if you connect say a bulb over here at the terminals of this coil, that bulb will glow. So that is, you have produced electrical energy. That's what we refer to as electrical energy. You connect a bulb over here, that bulb will glow. You connect a battery over here, that battery will charge. So you are producing electrical energy. So AC generator is a device basically which is used to produce electrical energy. On what principle does this work? This is producing electrical energy. But how is this producing electrical energy? This is producing electrical energy because this is experiencing change in flux. And we know whenever we have a coil which experiences change in flux, There's an induced EMF in this coil. And when you connect load at its terminal, that induced EMF will produce a current through the load. That's what you call electrical energy. Thus, the principle of AC generator is it works on the principle of electromagnetic induction. Which states that whenever magnetic flux linked with a coil or conductor changes, an EMF is induced in the coil. So this works on the principle of electromagnetic induction. Now tell me one thing. If you keep this coil stationary at this position, on this side you have a north pole, on this side you have a south pole. There is no flux passing through this. When there is no flux passing through this, will there be an induced EMF in this? Answer is no. There is no flux, there is no change in flux, so EMF induced here is 0. Now let's suppose we keep this coil in this position. You have north pole on this side, you have south pole on this side, and flux is passing through the coil. But if I am keeping this stationary in this position, will there be an induced EMF in this coil? The answer again is no, there won't be any induced EMF in this coil. Why? Though flux is passing through this coil, but this flux is not changing with time. This flux is constant. When flux is constant here, d phi by dt is, what is differentiation of constant? That is 0. So E will be 0. There won't be any induced EMF in this. We already know that EMF will be induced only when this experiences a change in flux. Fine. So in order to produce electrical energy, or in order for this coil to have an induced EMF, we have to rotate this coil continuously. So this is the reason why suppose this is the coil, you have to rotate this coil continuously. Because as long as you are rotating this coil, the flux passing through the coil is changing. When flux passing through the coil is changing, that is, there is d phi by dt. When there is d phi by dt, there is an induced EMF in this. Fine. So in order to generate electrical energy, or in order to produce induced EMF in this, you need to continuously rotate this coil. Now the question is, why do we need to rotate this coil? We again know this answer. We already studied this. If there would have been no need to rotate this coil to produce electrical energy, that would have meant that this machine is creating energy. Is it possible to create energy? It's not possible to create energy. You can only transform energy from one form to another. In this case, this generator basically what it does, it transforms which energy? I already told you that I have to keep on rotating this coil. Which energy is this that I am using over here? That is mechanical energy. So this transforms mechanical energy into electrical energy. So what does an AC generator do? An AC generator basically transforms mechanical energy to electrical energy. I am using mechanical energy to rotate this coil, and that mechanical energy in turn is being converted into electrical energy that we are using. Fine. Okay. Next is construction. In its simplest form, an AC generator should consist of a coil which is rotated inside a magnetic field. So this basically consists of a coil, and you have to rotate this coil inside a magnetic field. Why inside a magnetic field? So that flux passing through the coil keeps on changing. Because as long as the flux through the coil keeps on changing, there is an induced EMF, and because of that induced EMF there can be a current over here, and because of the current only you are supplying electrical energy. Fine. So in its simplest form, it consists of a coil which is rotating inside a magnetic field. In a real DC, in a real AC generator, in the real generator, there's not usually a single coil, single turn of coil over here as I showed it here. I've shown here as a simple example, a very simple example. In a real generator, there are thousands of coils, fine? But the same principle applies there as well. And this coil is usually on an iron core. There is usually an iron core, because you can't keep this coil on the air. We have to support this coil on something. So we usually support this coil using an iron core. Why iron? Why not wood? Why not aluminium? Why not copper? Because iron is a ferromagnetic material. You remember this? We discussed this in the magnetic materials class, where we studied that iron has magnetic permeabilities around 4,000 to 6,000 times than the air. So this allows flux to pass through it. That's why this is usually wound on an iron core. Also, the two ends of this coil, here and here, are connected to two, these are known as slip rings. Slip rings. What are they and why are they used? I will explain this. The two ends of this coil are connected to slip rings. Since I have to connect load over here, and this loop is rotating. It is like this is loop over here, and this loop is rotating, and I have to connect a bulb over here. When this loop rotates, the bulb along with it also rotates. जो wires यहाँ connect करनी होंगी ना इसके साथ, they will get twisted because of the rotation. That means whatever load you connect over here, when you rotate this, there will be twisting of the wires, and those wires will get damaged. They'll finally be cut off. In order to prevent that, what we do, we connect this end here, we connect this end here, and this is known as a slip ring. Slip ring 1, slip ring 2. And to these slip rings, what we have attached here, these are carbon brushes. Carbon brushes. Carbon brushes are basically conducting, but they are also lubricating. Since this slip ring is rotating with the coil, to this coil here and here, we connect two slip rings, one slip ring here, one slip ring here, and these slip rings are rotating with the coil. But on those slip rings, we attach fixed carbon brushes. These carbon brushes does not rotate with these slip rings. They are stationary on the machine. Fine. So when this rotates, when this coil rotates, though this slip ring rotates with it, this carbon brush will keep on sliding. What I mean to say here is, suppose this is a coil, and let's suppose this my left thumb here, this is one of the slip ring. Whenever this rotates here like this also rotates with it. And I am using here a carbon brush, which carbon brush is just sliding on the slip ring. When you rotate this is just sliding. This carbon brush is fixed. This carbon brush is fixed, and this carbon brush slides on this slip ring. So there is always electrical contact between this carbon brush and this slip ring. But this wire won't get twisted with the coil now. Why? Because this carbon brush and this slip ring, they are free. This carbon brush is not permanently attached to this, it can just slide over the slip ring. Fine. So we have two slip rings over here, and then you have these electrical contacts where you can connect the load. And finally, working. In a real generator, those which supply electricity to our homes, where from does this mechanical energy come? I already told you that in order to produce electrical energy, you have to continuously rotate this coil over here. And to rotate this coil, you need mechanical energy. Where from does this mechanical energy come? Is it that there are people who are continuously rotating this or turning this? No. In most of the cases, this coil is being rotated or turned by energy either from the water, the flowing water. Suppose water is flowing here. You have a stream of river over here where water is flowing with speed. You connect a wheel-like device over here, what you call as turbine. When water comes down, because of that, this turbine rotates, and then this turbine is connected to this coil. When this turbine rotates, so this coil rotates. Thus, this coil is being rotated using the energy from water. What you call as hydropower plants. Or you can do one more thing. You can use coal or you can use petroleum and you can heat water using those fossil fuels and then convert that water into steam and use that steam to rotate this coil. Such power plants are known as thermal power plants. In Kashmir, here we have hydropower plants because of the availability of water available over here. But in other states of India like Jharkhand, Orissa, in Delhi, they mostly have thermal power plants. And by thermal power plants, I mean where you convert energy from the fossil fuels into the steam. Then use that steam to rotate the coil inside the generator. Fine. Okay. So how much voltage does this generate over here? We already know that induced EMF E in this generator is equal to minus N d phi b divided by dt, where N is number of turns. To make it general, I have mentioned here as N. It can be single turn, it can be 100, it can be 1000 turns. What is flux through this coil? It is minus N d by dt of. We know that flux phi b is equivalent to, flux phi through this coil is equivalent to B dot A. Flux is a scalar product of B and A, where A is area vector. Remember this? Whose direction is perpendicular to the area. So if we have a coil like this over here, you have north pole on this side, you have south pole on this side, and you have a coil here. Flux is passing like this. Is any of the flux passing through this here in this direction? No, flux is passing from left to right. So flux through this is 0. Now you have same magnetic field over here, north south the same, but I am rotating this coil and now this coil is in this position. So flux will pass through this here, flux will pass through this. Flux through this is maximum here. Flux here was 0, flux here is maximum. So flux through this coil is a function of the orientation of the coil. So flux is equivalent to B into A. Also we can write flux phi B is equivalent, this is B A cos of theta, where theta is the angle between magnetic field B and area vector A. Fine. In general, we know theta is an is angular displacement and theta is equivalent to angular velocity omega into time t. You remember this from rotational dynamics course. So we know flux phi b is equivalent to b a cos of omega t. What is omega? Omega is angular velocity, theta is angular displacement, t is time. Substitute this phi b here, so this becomes b a cos of omega t. We can write this as minus n. Since magnetic field is constant, I can take this out. Area A of this loop is constant, I can take this out. So this is d by dt of cos of omega t. So we can write this as minus n b a. Differentiation of cos omega t is, it is minus sine omega t, minus sine of omega t, and internal differentiation of omega t is omega only into omega. So this becomes minus minus will become plus. This becomes n a b omega sine of omega t. Thus EMF induced in this coil or in this simple generator, the EMF induced E is equivalent to N A B omega sine of omega t. That is, this EMF induced in this coil is function of number of turns. This can be easily understood. More the number of turns, more will be induced EMF. Number of turns. Second is area. More the area, more the flux, more the change in flux. So more the EMF proportional to area. This EMF is directly proportional to magnetic flux density B. Stronger the magnetic flux density B, more will be the flux passing through this, and more will be the EMF induced. This is also proportional to omega, where omega is speed of rotation. This could also be understood. The faster you rotate this coil over here, the more mechanical energy you are using, and more will be the electrical, that is, more will be the voltage. In other words, the faster you rotate this coil inside the magnetic field, the faster will be the change in flux d phi by dt. So more will be the induced EMF. So E is proportional to omega as well. This N A B omega, if you rotate this coil with a constant angular velocity omega, all these terms are constant. N is constant, A is constant, B is constant. If you rotate this with a constant speed, omega is constant. So we can also write this as E is equivalent to constant E naught, where E naught is equal to NAB omega sine of omega t. You can clearly see here that this induced EMF E is equal to E naught, a constant term, and sine of omega t, where t is time. Thus, this induced EMF E produced by this coil is not constant, but this depends upon time t. This is a function of time t. This induced EMF E is equal to E naught sine of omega t. This E is a function of time. How does this induced EMF E depend upon time? This depends on time according to relation sine of omega t. We already know this. The waveform of sine omega t is something like this. And this is amplitude of the sine wave. So amplitude of the sine wave here, this is NAB omega. This is NAB omega, maximum value of the sine wave. So voltage produced by this generator is of this shape. What shape is this? This is a sinusoidal one. Thus what we finally concluded here is that the voltage produced by this generator is not a constant one, what you call as DC voltage that we have been studying till now. Till now we have been studying about DC voltage in electric current chapter as well. Here we have found out that the generator, the AC generator that we studied here, it does not produce a constant voltage source like this, where voltage V is constant. But it produces a voltage which is sinusoidal in nature, which is changing in sinusoidal fashion. This voltage is zero, at times it becomes maximum, then it becomes again zero, it becomes in maximum in opposite direction, zero, maximum again. This is the form of voltage that you receive at your places. We do not receive DC voltage at our places. The energy that is being supplied by power development department at our places is not DC, but that is an AC voltage. By AC we mean alternating current. Alternate means it's sometimes positive and sometimes negative. Sometimes it becomes positive, sometimes it becomes negative, again positive, again negative. So you remember one thing, there's a difference in the voltage of the battery that you use and the electrical supply that you receive from the mains. The electrical supply that you receive from the mains is basically AC, alternating current type. And the energy that you use in your mobile phones, the battery in the mobile phones, they have DC. The battery of the torch that has DC. This opens an all new world for you. That is the world of alternating currents, AC. What is the difference between this AC and DC? How can we differentiate between the two? What are the uses of AC? Are there any different parameters for AC? Does resistance change for AC? Does inductance change for AC? Does capacitance change for AC? How does capacitor behave in AC? How does inductor behave in AC? How does resistor behave in AC? How does their combination behave in AC? We are going to study that part in next chapter. That will be starting from Monday, inshallah. That is alternating current. We'll be studying this chapter, alternating current. Fine. This finishes this chapter on electromagnetic induction. If you have any questions, any queries, you can directly contact me. Thank you.